transmute, experiment, explore. We're really about thinking into this space where reality changes into language and into the written word on the page, and then back into an experience that happens in your head somehow. And then how we can experiment with that and tinker with it and break it and push it in order to explore what it is to be human.
Once I took that first creative writing class, it completely changed everything for me. You can find people who align with your same values and who you can be yourself with, but at the same time who push you to be a better writer.
What we try to do is try to immerse writers in all the possibilities of writing, the voices that are both contemporary and historical, the ways writing moves and finds new readers, all those elements of writing that helps them expand their vision of what writing could be.
Creative writing students are from every department. We have econ, business, religious studies, you name it, and they're in it.
The thing about creative writing is that we all use language. We all tell stories. So anybody can come and succeed in a creative writing class. If you're an engineer, or you're a scientist, or you're writing a grant, or you're an economist or a policymaker, you have to talk in narrative.
And I think that really is reflected in the students who come into our classroom, who are bringing these really disparate fields of study and thinking about the ways that they can apply the knowledge they have in other classes too, to the work that they're doing creatively.
Some people come to writing out of an urgency to tell a certain story, whether that's their own story, the story of a community, a historical story that they felt have not been told. Some people come to creative writing the way a dancer comes to dance, because there's something about that gesture, that motion, that style that seems right about being on the planet for them.
We have such a phenomenal record of distinguished work here.
There's just some really amazing faculty that had really similar interests in research and themes, but also that were a little bit outside of my comfort zone. So I knew that I wasn't just going to stay in my own bubble, that I could branch out and explore other options too.
We cultivate an attention to live reality. For instance, with ekphrastic writing, where we take students to the museum and write in response to artwork.
And this is this idea of saying yes to new experiences and new ideas, and then you're bringing that back to the page, right? You're thinking about how you become a more full person who has had different experiences in the world, and how does that make you a better writer?
It's a relatively small program. Our faculty are able to give a lot of attention to our students.
They're all accessible and very willing to be just as vulnerable as you are in that space.
We have a wide range of expertises in terms of the genres that we're interested in: prose, poetry, plays.
A lot of professors I had were really good at exposing me and other students to multiple different types of writing. There was a lot of stuff that I would have never found if I had never gotten to take the class.
We have a course which works with students to develop speculative fiction, so fantasy and science fiction kinds of stories.
For an Intro to Poetry course, we're going to be looking at the different uses of poetics in rap. We looked even at silly things like limericks and how do we write those, and finding comedy in writing.
We have courses on trauma and narrative. We have courses on the short form. We also have a strong focus in translation.
There's such an opening for other languages to flourish and offer another system to employ when either your own native tongue or a secondary one falls flat or doesn't have quite the same connotations.
We also offer students the opportunity to do their own writing and publication work. That's an opportunity for students to think about what an issue of a literary journal would look like.
Something that's extremely unique about our creative writing program is we really try to model for our students that they are writers first and foremost, but that they are embedded in their community.
I think a great creative writer understands that their work doesn't exist in a vacuum, that art doesn't exist outside of a social space, that it engages with different communities and in vastly different ways.
We have students come through the program, undergraduate students, graduate students, who then go on to win prestigious fellowships, awards. It's astonishing sometimes to see the places that our alumni go, the levels of literary achievement they're able to reach. For me, creative writing is a way to keep alive the humanistic tradition in the best senses of the word. It's a way to keep alive that close attention to the incredible complexity and breadth of human experience.
Greatness always comes from what only you can say, what only you can make. But at the same time, that sense comes from a whole history, a whole community, a whole family, a whole language groups of people sort of whispering in your ear as you find that voice of yours.
And if I can help our students think more richly and more broadly about what the world is and how they interact with it and how they can think about it and represent it to other people, that's worthy work.